You are welcome back. In the last session, we discussed radio buttons, check boxes, and selection boxes and hidden field under the topic Advanced HTML tags in this web design training. I want to continue from here and explain the use of special characters in HTML. For example, if you want to add a character like copyright symbol or a paragraph mark or accented E, HTML support all these special characters, and they're about 250, including mathematical symbols and others. Now, the trick is that you are going to use what we call HTML character entities. They are special code that the browser will recognize as a request for unusual character. And when the browser sees it, the browser will change it to what it's supposed to be. For example, now, in your web design, if you type ampersand copy semicolon, this, look at the mouse, look at what I'm pointing to with the mouse. If you type this is what the browser will display. It's a copyright symbol. And likewise, you need a symbol for euro. Now, if you type ampersand euro, then this symbol will be displayed. If you need greater than, less than, look at it here, greater than, less than, you are going to write ampersand LT, which means less than, ampersand LT, then semicolon. If you type that, the browser will give you less than. If it is GT, the browser will give you greater than. And there is a particular one I want to point out, though it's not here. If you need empty space, you could have discovered that if I escape this, if I go back to our notepad, you discover that if you leave a lot of spaces, let me show you an example. This is our registration form. If you have been following this course, you remember this. Okay, maybe between male and female. This is a radio button between male and female. If I leave spaces, this space doesn't mean anything in the browser. If I save it and I refresh our page, you can see that the space between male and female is a single space. So that is the best your browser can add, or else you add a space yourself. This time around, you can separate male and female by dropping female, but it's not the best. They have to be side by side. But assuming you want more spaces between male and female, or between HP and Dell, so you need a special character. If you want to use break tag, it means you have to drop each of them down and arrange them vertically, which you may not like. So what we are saying here is that all these spaces that I'm leaving to make my typing legible, they are not recognized by the browser. Space doesn't mean anything here. If you want to raise space, you are going to put something that we call, so between male and female, you put what we call ampersand. Every HTML entity or special character starts with ampersand. You can see the symbol ampersand preceding all of them. So that is, you can see that they are all preceded by ampersand. So you type ampersand symbol, going back to our notepad, then you type the code for putting space. And the code I want to type here, between male and female, I said you start with the ampersand symbol, then NBSP, non-breaking space. So MDSP, then you end it with semicolon. That will put a space. If you need more of it, Ctrl C, you can put more. So that will put about 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces between male and female. Let's save this and see the effect in our browser. If I refresh this, so you can see that there is enough space between male and female. So if you do the same thing between each of these, let me paste it there. Between each of these Toshiba and Co, to make our typing legible, that's the essence of that. So all these spaces I'm putting between the HP, Dell, Toshiba under our check boxes. So that will put, let me see, that will put spaces between them. If I refresh, you can see that there is a space is automatically done. So there is enough space. So that is the essence of special character. Though there are other special character that you'll be using most of the time, especially the copyright symbol. The copyright symbol, the plus or minus sign is not on the keyboard and you may need it. This division sign, you can't find it on keyboard. Even multiply sign, asterisk or star is what you can find on the keyboard. So these are the special characters you'll be needing in your web page from time to time. So now continuing with this, if you go back to our notepad, I can put something here, maybe at the bottom of the form. So let's put a special character for copyright. So that will be ampersand copy then semicolon. So if I go back to the notepad, I can say copy. At the bottom of the form, I can say copy, then don't forget semicolon is important. I can type 2016 life skills technologies. Alright. Research life skill. So if I save this, I'll go to the browser and refresh. So you can see the copyright symbol put there right now. So all those special characters you have to learn. You have to learn the code for them, and they're simple enough to memorize, especially those ones you'll be needing from time to time. So not breaking space, the copy, the less than, greater than, and so on and so forth. Alright, so continuing with our advanced HTML, I want to talk about tables. HTML table is a grid of cells built out of rows and columns. If you have been working with Microsoft Excel, you have the idea of what I mean by rows and columns. And in the olden days of web design, they use tables to arrange the layout of the site. But with CSS, we don't need to use tables to lay out our site. You just use table for tables, that is just to display something in tabular form, not for your site layout. In order to create a table, you need to understand the tag. Well, the overall tag is table tag, that is the parent tag. And it has some attributes like width, like height, and some other things that you can put as the attribute. Then we have table row, TR. The TR tag will start a row, whereas TD, table data, we create a cell in each of the rows. So the number of TD will determine the number of columns that you will have in your table. So that is it. Then there is another element called TH. is optional. We call it table heading. So that we put a table heading on your table. Now look at this example. Okay, we have this example table. After the table tag, I start TR. Then I start TH. I have 3 TH. That will create 3 headings in 3 columns. Then I close the row. So from this TR to the closing TR, that is a row. Then you start another row. And don't forget that the number of elements between your opening TR and the closing TR will determine the number of columns. Since I'm starting with table heading and I have 3 headings, that means 3 columns. So in the second T row, that is the second TR here, there must be, and I'm using TD, not table heading, I want to use table data, and there must be 3. They must be equal to the number of your headings, and subsequent rows, they must be having 3 TDs. So that is how table works. And if you look at the output of this is the output. You have rank, name, and population as your table heading, rank, name, and population. Then look at the next row, 1 room, 450,000. And that's exactly you have. You're going to put it here, 1 room, 450,000. So using table is interesting in web design. So let's see how we can make use of that in our let's open our site. This is my registration page. If you remember, if I go to the site, let's go back. Okay, let's close this. Let's go to our site folder. This is my site folder. Let me click on the index. Okay, this is our index. If you remember, we've worked with this before. So from this index, if you click here, it takes you to the contact page. If you go back, if you click here, it takes you to registration page that we'll be working on. But this time around, I want to work on table, and I want to put the table somewhere here. I want to put it on our, okay, let's put it on our contact page. I would like to put the table on our contact page. If I go back to the, so if I open with Notepad, let's open that with Notepad. The only thing we have here is in the body, we have, this is my contact, this is my first website. I'm going to remove all this. Okay. I can put a paragraph that can say the following. Our staff that you can contact. So I want to put a table there to list the staff that we have in our company. So if I save this and I go back to the browser and I refresh, okay, all right. So this is my contact page. That's what I have here. Let me check it properly. Let me close this. This is my contact page. The following are our staff that you can contact. And I want it to be bold enough. Let's give it heading 2. Don't forget LIFO. You close editor first before paragraph. And I refresh. Alright, so that is that. Then I want to start another paragraph, but this time around I want to put a table tag. I want to put a table tag there. Immediately, so that I don't forget, I'll put a closing table. Then I have table heading, serial number, table heading, then another one is a staff name, Then don't forget the closing table heading. Another one is a designation. Then the table heading. Another one is a phone number and table heading. Now what have I achieved with this? I've started a table tag, and in that table I created 4 columns headings. 4 column headings: serial name, staff name, designation, phone number. Okay, let's save this. I'll go back to the site, I'll refresh. Alright, I have serial number, staff name, designation, phone number. They appear to be close to each other. So that will lead us to the concept of attributes in tables. So you want to apply cell spacing. You want to put cell spacing, then you want to put border. So those are the things you work on. So if you go back to our notepad, I want to apply some attributes here. So the attribute I'm applying here, we call it cell spacing. Cell spacing, let it be 5 pixels. I hope you remember attribute, it has to be in double quotes. 5 pixels. I will explain what I mean by cell spacing, cell padding. So that will be 5. Or let's make that 2. Then border. I want our table to have border equals to, let's give it 1 border. Okay. Now, before I explain what I mean by cell spacing, cell padding, and border, let's add one row. Let's add one row. So I will start row, table row. Then I will have closing table row. Don't forget that we only have the heading, but we don't have any row. Then let's add cells or table data TD to each of our row. So maybe serial number 1, then TD. So that is the data that will be under this serial number. The under staff name in the first row, engineer Yang. So that's our first staff. Then, so that will be under staff name. Another table data inside that row, we have so the data here for the 3rd column. Now you can see I have this row, the closing row data. Then this TD will return the element under each of the column. Don't forget that I've created 4 columns with the table heading. So the 3rd column, that's designation, that's our system engineer. Okay. Then you close that. Then you have another one, TD. The phone number is 080-777-6669. So that is the phone number. Then you close that. Okay, let's save that. And we go back here and refresh. Okay, you can see that something is wrong, but some things have happened. There is space between my heading and I have a border. There is border line in my table. So that is the effect of cell spacing. Cell spacing will give a space between, this is a cell, serial number is a cell, staff name is a cell, designation is a cell, phone number is another cell. So between each of the cells, you can see a space of 5 pixels. That is cell spacing. Cell padding is the space within the cell, within what is typed inside the cell. What is typed inside the cell and the cell itself. For example, if I remove this cell spacing, if I remove it, I don't type anything there, and I go to the browser and I refresh. you discover that it shrinks. So there is no space between phone number and the surrounding cell. Likewise, this designation, the space is reduced. The internal space between what you type in your cell is the cell padding. So let me return it and make it save and refresh. So you can see that the space is becoming widening. If I make it 5, just like the cell spacing, so and I refresh, so the internal space between what you type and the cell itself is increasing. So that is the padding. Padding is internal, while spacing is external. Spacing is the space between, external space between one cell and another cell. But padding is the space within the cell, within what you type in the cell and the cell itself. Now if I make this border, if I make it 3, for example, let's make the border 3 and refresh. So you see that the border is becoming thick. So it's thicker than what it used to be. So that is the essence of the border. Then let me return it back to 1. Alright.